This is the best moments of the Barbecue Central show in 10 minutes or less. Ever wish you could re-listen to your favorite interview or segment? Do you enjoy hearing older shows for the first time in years? Then the best moments of the Barbecue Central show in 10 minutes or less is just what you need. Thanks for listening and enjoy the show.
Greetings, everyone. Welcome to the best moments of the Barbecue Central show in 10 minutes or less. Today's show is being brought to you by Crawford's BBQ. Crawford's BBQ is bringing great barbecue products to pitmasters and kings of the cul-de-sac alike. To find out more, head over to crawfordsbbq.com. Today's show from January 27, 2015, it is a double header with Mr. Teddy Reeder. Let's jump right into it. Here's Greg and Teddy Reeder from January 27, 2015.
Joining me now, a multiple-time author, a blogger, a chef professionally, and a guy that loves barbecue and grilling as much as me, actually more than me. My friend to the north, my friend to the east, south, and west, Ted Reeder, joining us on the show. Ted, how are you, buddy?
Good, Greg. How are you this evening?
Absolutely fabulous, Ted. Appreciate you making time for the show tonight, and finally great to kind of catch back up with you. I know we missed you a couple times just trying to link up and do this, so in the world of Ted Reeder, it's probably been, maybe 2.5 months since the last time we got on air together. What is going on in the life of a guy that is a barbecue and griller and an author and a guy who's got a really cool, traveling smoker and grill thing? I mean, you're at it from all angles right now, Ted.
Well, I do love what I do, and we're having a good time every day. In the winter, when things are a little more quiet, I am a professor of food science and technology at the Canadian Food and Wine Institute at Niagara College. So I teach how to become a research chef and develop food products for grocery stores and restaurant chains. That's part of my life. And then the other aspect of my life is the world of barbecue. So the newest thing that has hit the road in 2014 was my 1972 Ford Seagrave fire truck. And it was a birthday present to me. So I was given this fire truck by my business partners for my 50th birthday.
A fire truck?
A fire truck. So it is, we have been modifying this fire truck. The fire truck goes by the name of Hoptimus Prime. That's H-O-P, Timus. And that's because it is a beer and barbecue machine. So we have refrigeration on board that can hold 8 kegs of beer, wow, and we can pour out of 2 draft taps. We have 8 feet worth of gas grills and rotisseries. And then on the other side of the fire truck, we have an 8-foot custom designed and made barrel smoker that runs off of hardwood. And then we have an upper party deck, awnings that come out from it. The upper party deck will hold a dozen people seating and standing, flat screen TVs, a kick-ass sound system, and low ride to drop it down an extra foot to put us a little closer to the ground while we're cooking.
Wow, this thing sounds outrageous.
It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. And so this summer is this spring and summer, this new season for 2015. It'll be out there on the roads in the general Toronto area. And we'll be catering events and having fun and doing all kinds of parties off of it.
Is it something that, any jamoke off the street could call, get a price, and contract you on, or is it going to be more like corporate stuff?
It'll be everything. So anybody can give us a call, and my catering company is called Chef Events, and so we cater all kinds of functions. This past summer, our largest function was a function for 4,000 people. We did for a little fast food chain here in Canada called Tim Hortons. And so their franchisees were having their 50th anniversary party, and they asked my team to throw a barbecue. So we did a little barbecue for 4,000 people.
Ted, let me ask you a question. I mean, we have guys, pitmasters on here that maybe run a small barbecue shop, or they've seen success on the competition circuit to some degree, maybe are doing fairly well with the rubber sauce and get into catering, or vice versa. Maybe they started barbecue catering and then they got into the competition scene. But rarely does one of these guys come on the show and talk about how they did an event for multiple thousands of people, 4,000 specifically for you. I mean, how do you go about game planning and setting up logistically on the food side something for 4,000 people that is as good from person 1 to person 4,000?
You have an amazing team, and you need to have a very strong team. And I am fortunate enough to have a wonderful team working with me and guiding me and helping me put it all together. It definitely can't be done alone. This party that was for 4,000 people was located on Toronto Island, and it was a big do. There were boats, and there were fireworks, and there were rock bands, and there were food stations all over the place, and food trucks. And it took over a year of planning.
Oh, wow.
To put that together for that function. I even developed a barbecue sauce for Tim Hortons that incorporated their coffee into the barbecue sauce, and they bottled it, and that was given out to all of the franchisees that came by. So it was a huge event, and there's a lot of work that goes into that. It's not something that you can whip off in a day. You've really got to plan it. And to be quite honest, my team did most of the planning of it. They organized it. They coordinated everything with the people from Tim Hortons and executed an amazing event.
Ted Reeder joining us here on the show. TedReeder.com is his website if you want to check it out here while we are chatting it up a little bit. Ted, obviously coming up this coming weekend, we have the Super Bowl. I say Super Bowl here on this show. I know a lot of people are very scared about being sued, but the NFL would be very quick to unsue me when they realized zero was coming their way for saying Super Bowl.
Yes, well, you know what? I'm in Canada, so I'm going to say Super Bowl.
That's right. Hell yeah. I'm moving to Canada so I can say
if you're going to hold an event, you can't trademark the name and tell us we can't use it. I'm sorry. That's an event that millions of people are going to watch. We can say Super Bowl.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. It's crazy.
Or I don't have to watch.
So what's the deal at Ted Reeder's house, or if people are looking for great Super Bowl recipes that maybe they haven't seen recently, or something that they might want to try that you're going to be doing?
Well, I look at it this way. Super Bowl is a fun time of the year. Number one, the most consumed food on a Super Bowl weekend is the almighty chicken wing.
Yeah.
And I love wings, and they're wonderful, and you can grill them, and you can smoke them, and you can deep fry them, and you can do 1,001 things to them. You can stuff them, you can toss them in sauce, you can dry rub them, and you can eat a gallon of them if you feel like it. But it's still a chicken wing, and I think there's a little bit more that can be done this year. We have two teams. You've got one from the East Coast and one from the West Coast, and I look at it and I say to myself, wow, what kind of a menu would I put together with some of the ingredients that come from those regions? And so for me, I look at the West Coast and I say to Seattle, and I'm going to have to root for Seattle this year.
Agreed.
I'm not a New England Patriots fan.
I agree fully.
And I apologize to those that are. Everybody has their team, but I'm going to root for Seattle. And one is because I love the crab that comes from Seattle, and the fish market. That's Pike Place Fish Market. So I'm going to be doing some stone grilled crab cakes. And I'll be using Dungeness crab, and it's a very, very simple recipe. It's lump crab meat. You need a fair amount of it. You put some diced onions, some chives in there, a little bit of lemon zest and lemon juice, some mayonnaise, and I like to take saltine crackers and just crush them up and then mix it all together. You can add a little bit of Dijon mustard if you want, salt and pepper, but really you want to taste that crab meat. And then you just put it all together gently. You don't need an egg in there. The mayo will be just fine. And you don't want it to be too dry, and you don't want it to be too wet. You take an ice cream scoop, and I'll take a hot grilling stone. So I take these soapstones. I'll put them on my grill, and I'll fire them up and get them to about 450 degrees. And the wonderful thing about it in the wintertime is those stones, once they're hot, they stay hot. So you can have the grill lid open, and those stones are still going to be hot. And I scoop that crab cake mixture, and I put them down. Just press them lightly and fry them till they're crisp on both sides. And then put that on a bun, add some potato chips, make a little bit of a tartar sauce, and munch down and have a good time. That would be my tailgating thing for Seattle.
Sounds great.
Because I love that.
Yeah.
I don't know if that goes with you folks. And then from the other end of things, if I was a New England fan, I would be taking a strip loin of beef and I would be rubbing it down liberally with sea salt. And I'd be putting that in my smoker and I would be cooking it low and slow till it reached just about 130 degrees.
To put in your request for a future show, please contact John Solberg via email at johnjon@thebbqcentralshow.com.
Hey, before we get into the second segment, let me take a minute to tell you about Crawford's Barbecue Pit Spritz. Pit Spritz is all natural and gluten-free. Pit Spritz keeps your meat super moist during the cooking process. The Peach Pit Spritz adds an amazing sweet peach taste to your barbecue. It's great on all meats, and it does exceptionally well with pork. All you need to do is screw the included trigger sprayer onto the 16-ounce bottle, and you are ready to go. Crawford's Pit Spritz also works great as a wrapping liquid, helping you to bring your barbecue home. Get all the details on Crawford's Pit Spritz over at crawfordsbbq.com. Be sure you use the coupon code GREG at checkout for 10% off your entire order. That's GREG, G-R-E-G.
Low and slow till it reached just about 130 degrees. Then I would take it out, and that strip loin I would cut into 2-inch thick steaks, and I would put them onto hot charcoal, super, super hot. We're talking about 700 to 800 degrees, and just do that reverse sear, and quickly take that 2-inch steak and give it about a 30-second to 1 minute max on both sides, and pull it off. Slice it thin, and serve it up on a bun. Add your garnishes of whatever you want, and that strip loin will just melt in your mouth.
What kind of tops do you put on that sandwich? Just bread and beef, or do you put onion and cheese?
Well, I would take onions and mushrooms and saute them and get them nice and crispy, and then take a really stinky cheese like a Limburger cheese, and you slice that Limburger cheese in about a 1/4-inch thick slices, and you put that onto the hot sauteed onions and mushrooms, and then just give it a quick stir with like a wooden spoon, and that cheese and the heat from the onions and mushrooms, it all get melty, and then you spoon that up and put that on top of your sliced beef. And you want a really soft bun, maybe that has a little coarse sea salt on the outside of it, some shaved onion, maybe a little bit of arugula and some heirloom tomato, and mow down on it. And also a little bit of horseradish mayo would be good too.
Ted, are you a fan of, and I've seen them more and more, I guess through popularity of maybe being used in Arby's and so forth, but these King Hawaiian buns, and now I've seen them in, real life hamburger size buns as well. Do you like those, kind of those sweet things?
I don't mind them. We don't get that bun here in Canada, unfortunately, so I've only had the King's Hawaiian bun once or twice, and I haven't tried the hamburger bun, but I have tried the smaller buns, and I've done crab cakes on those smaller buns. And for me, I cut them in half, I butter both sides, and I put them in a pan, and I griddle them until they're crispy, like the outside of a grilled cheese sandwich. And then put your crab cake on there, your steak or your burger or whatever you want. And it's absolutely amazing. But you've got to like that sweetness to the bread. And that's the one thing with the King's Hawaiian. They're just a little bit sweeter. But it's a nice soft roll, and if you get it nice and crispy on a griddle, it's pretty amazing.
Ted Reeder joining us here on the show, talking about some food for the upcoming Super Bowl this Sunday. And Ted, of course, the other thing, I mean, it's great to eat. Got to have something to wash it down. Obviously, you're a Jack guy, you're a beer guy, but are there any specific libations that you might be making Super Bowl related or West and East Coast related?
Not really. No, I'm a very simplistic drinker when it comes down to it. I love my bourbon. I do like my Tennessee whiskey, and I love a really great beer. And I'm not I don't need my beer to be fancy. I just need it to be cold and go down smooth. And that's really the libation that I'll be doing this weekend. When I'm at home and I'm cooking here at what I call Casa Barbecue, and I don't get to tailgate that often. Canadians don't get that opportunity because of our liquor laws here. We don't have the fun to be able to go and have a tailgate at a football game. The closest tailgating I can do is I have to go to Buffalo, and Bills fans are crazy,
They're
and I love
coots.
going down to Buffalo.
Yeah, man.
And and I love to tailgate down there. So for me, what I do though is I love the home gating. I love to do, invite some friends over and put on the game and fire up the grills out back or the smokers. And I don't care how cold it is. I'm out there if it's minus 30 degrees Fahrenheit or if it's plus 50. It doesn't matter. I'm out there. I love to cook. And that's the inspiration. And when you've got friends that want to come and eat and taste, and you get out back and in the cold weather, it all feels good. And Super Bowl will be fun. It's about having a good time with your friends and your family and watching your team. And hopefully your team and your colors are going to come out on top. My latest book that's out is called Gastro Grilling, and won Best Cookbook in Canada this year in 2014. So I was pretty excited about that.
Absolutely. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Gastro Grilling. Go ahead and pick it up if you haven't already. Ted, let me ask you, because I did ask Ray this same question. I mean, both you guys have been successful in the number of books that you've put out. You look at it 10, 15 years ago, people were making strong bank on the back of books only. And fast forward to where we are now, it seems like any Tom, Dick, or Harry could go self-publish. People are trying to get book deals left and right. And maybe that the... what's the term I'm trying to use? The talent pool becomes diluted a little bit when everybody can kind of get a leg in the water. Do you find writing book the same as you did back when you started as far as experience and being able to make the same kind of money and things of this nature, or is it now a way for Ted Reader's brand to continually be in front of people's faces?
Well, it has modified and changed. I've written, the first book I ever worked on was in 1993, and that book was for a grocery store chain, and it sold 250,000 copies in about a week. It was an amazing book, and I learned a lot about writing books back then. And as I've progressed to writing 21 cookbooks now, I do find that the competition level is... the pool is full. There's a lot of people in there, and you've got to be sharp, and you've got to know your business. So I've been doing barbecue and cooking my entire life. I started cooking when I was about 6 or 7 years of age, and I've spent my entire life being a chef and a lover of food and passionate about barbecue and the world of outdoor cooking. I don't stop. I put my thinking cap on every day. I never make the same recipe twice. I'm always tweaking. I'm always working and modifying. I'm outdoors probably 4 to 6 days a week, year-round, cooking food and practicing. And, I have a little 7-year-old, and he says, "Daddy, how come you practice all the time?" And I said, "If you want to be the best, you've got to practice. And you can't get to being the best if you're not practicing and not doing." And I love the amount of barbecue fans and the number of people that are out there cooking and turning the world of barbecue and telling the world about how barbecue can be done. And not just American style or Canadian style or German style or English style, because it's all coming out now. And so there's more that I have to do when it comes down to writing a book, to make a really great book. I think Gastro Grilling, which I wrote, and I wrote that book in 17 days.
Wow.
135 recipes. And I wrote every single word of that. I had an editor go through it, but I wrote the book in 17 days. I like to work under pressure. And it's the best book I've ever written. It's a phenomenal book. There's over 135 recipes, and there's over 200 color photos in there. And you really have to love what you do to have those books make you money. And you've got to work hard at it. And so the book business, it's tougher now. Can you make money in the book business? Yes, you can. But I look at writing a book is more of a promotional purpose and marketing for my business. But I love to share my stories, and I love to share my recipes. I'll never say to somebody, "Well, that's a secret." You want to know? I'll help you. I'll show you. I'll tell you. I'm not afraid to share my thoughts or my food love, because I want everybody to get in their backyards and fire up their grills and fire up their smokers and cook food day in and day out. Forget about your oven. Get outdoors and do it, whether it's snowing or raining or a tornado's a-coming. Get out there and cook something delicious, because it just fuels the passion to get out there and do it again and again and again. My wife thinks I'm crazy. Now, the other day it was minus 20 here in Toronto, and it was windy, and she says, "Where are you going?" And I said, "I'm going to go fire up my pit." And she said, "Why?" I said, "Because I don't want to use the oven. I want to go outdoors. It's more fun." And that's the way it is. If it's fun for me, I'm having a good time.
That's right. And that's why we like having Ted Reeder here on this show when he is available to come on and talk with us. Again, you can find him at tedreeder.com, and he will be voting for or rooting for the Seattle Seahawks, as will I. Ted, always appreciate the time, man. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks, Greg. Have a great one, and hopefully we'll chat with you soon. Everybody out there, have a good Super Bowl weekend, and just make it tasty, because that's all that matters.
There he is, Ted Reeder, ladies and gentlemen.
Indeed. Ted Reeder from January 27th, 2015. Do yourself a favor. Head on over to CrawfordsBBQ.com. Check out their all-natural, gluten-free pit spreads. Until next time, on the best moments of the Barbecue Central show in 10 minutes or less, I am your host, John Solberg, and I look forward to talking to you again soon.